Welcome back to an Enterprise UI tutorial. In this tutorial, you will learn how to add URL and Onvif cameras to your system. To start, we first need to locate the camera creator. Do this by selecting Devices on the left navigation column, then select Cameras, then press Create. You will now see the Create Camera wizard. Before diving into these settings, we must first choose whether to add a URL or Onvif camera. Let's start entering the URL details. To bring up the URL configuration, select URL under the Config via drop-down box. Now you will see URL details. Now enter the camera URL link in the URL field. After the link has been entered, the username and password fields should automatically fill with the correct details. Next, enter all the remaining details listed under Step 3. After all the desired details have been entered, press the Test button. If the camera is tested successfully, it should move to the next tab. Select all the desired settings. Move to each tab by pressing the Next button. Finalize the camera by pressing the Create button once it appears. Another option in the URL camera setup is setting it up as a template. This would be used in cases where you do not have the camera link, but know its details. Setting up a template is very similar to URL camera setup, with the only difference being that instead of entering a link into the URL field, you should press the Get URL From button. This will bring up a form to enter all the template information. Enter the accurate information into each field. After all the fields are filled, you will see a link generated under the URL field. Press OK. You will see that the URL is automatically entered with the username and password as well. Complete the setup as you would with a URL camera. The second option is Onvif. To bring up the Onvif configuration, select Onvif under the Config via drop-down box. Next, enter all the remaining details listed under Step 3. After all the desired details have been entered, press the Test button. If the camera is tested successfully, it should move to the next tab. Select all the desired settings. Move to each tab by pressing the Next button. Finalize the camera by pressing the Create button once it appears. Now that we have chosen what type of cameras to add and have implemented them into our system, we can check to see if they have been successfully added. Go to Devices on the left navigation column. Then go to Cameras. You should see a list of the cameras you just added. Now that we have confirmed that the camera has been added to your Enterprise UI system, your camera should be all set.